What happens when Issei inherits the power of a cosmic god?
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei Got the Powers of Cosmic Rimuru movie. Before we start, please go support IsseiOmniversalCaos for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken character's gender, but of course Issei is a male. In this story, Rimuru was sent to DxD by the true demon king, Unwanted, so that he could give his power to Issei, who would then take human form, and Issei would gain his abilities as Rimuru. Now, the two of them would have new adventures and dangers. Prologue. Ugh, damn son, I swear I'll destroy you someday, although if I destroy it, there won't be any vegetation left and everything will be dark, said a boy with long blue hair like a girl's, wearing white pajamas. I see that everything started to move, that's good. Knock knock. Mr. Rimuru, may I come in? A female voice asked from the other side of the door. If you can pass, said Rimuru Tempest, a demon king capable of destroying the entire universe or even more, after having surpassed his limits and becoming the new god of the universes. Thank you, sir. You see, today a young man appeared who claims to be the true demon king, Shuna said, bowing. The real demon king? Rimuru asked, somewhat terrified, since he had heard of him but had never seen him before. Yes, he is waiting for him in the meeting room. Shion leaves so that Rimuru can then change his clothes and wear the one he always wears to present himself as the demon king. She went straight to the meeting room, and when she saw a boy with black hair and red eyes who gave off a terrifying aura, Rimuru began to feel some fear as she was almost close to him. So you're the demon king they talk about in this world? He asked. Yes, my name is Rimuru Tempest, Chancellor of the Jura Federation. Rimuru said respectfully, what are you doing here, Unwanted? You see, Rimuru, the reason I'm here is to tell you that your power will now be transferred to someone else. A new danger is approaching other worlds, and that's why you must give your power to someone worthy who will wield it properly and not for evil. The world you live in is becoming unstable. I will take your form so you have enough time to find someone worthy to wield it. When that happens, you will return here and I will give you some of my power to help me. But if what we do here doesn't work, I will send your friends and as many as I can from your world to that place. What do you say, Rimuru? I ask, extending my hand, which Rimuru shakes in hers as a sign of acceptance. Very well, let's begin. Thus, years would create a portal. By the way, before you go, do you want to take your human form after you find your successor, or keep that form but be human? I'm asking. I'm fine with this, thank you, but being human, Rimuru said to Anos. Well, cross the portal. If things get worse here, I'll send everyone I can from this world to the one you're in now. Good luck, Anos said, taking his leave. Good luck, Mr. Rimuru. Said all his friends as they said goodbye, but they knew that one day they would see each other again. So Rimuru was now in a very different world. Rimuru was now a ghost because people were passing right through him. I see that I'm a ghost now, but well, at least I know my friends are okay. Sir, the man who sent us here has sent me a message. Well, tell me what it says, Rimuru said to Raphael. Hello, I hope you're already in that world. You see, you're a ghost now. The reason you are is so you don't attract the attention of the beings in that world. Look for someone named Issei Hyoudou. He's 17 years old and has brown hair. He's worthy of wielding your power. When you give him your power, you'll take your human form with your same powers, but the ones you'll have given him will be different and more evolved. Don't worry, everything will be alright here, I think. See you soon and take care. I'll send one of your friends there one of these days. Well, at least I know I'll be able to take my human form. Sir, your vital signs have finally stabilized. Thank you, Raphael. Now we have to find this Issei guy. Track him down, Rimuru said as he sprouted a pair of wings from his back. It is located 2 kilometers to the west, I estimate you will arrive in 5 minutes. I'm going to break your calculations, so I'll arrive in 4:59, Rimuru said with a touch of humor, and then he began to fly at maximum speed. Sir, this is the east. Shit. Rimuru shouts angrily, turning around and flying the other way. Time skip. Sir, I'll arrive in 2 minutes. It doesn't seem like my powers have been sealed, anyway I have to see this Issei. Rimuru was walking through what appeared to be an academy. This is Kuoh Academy, the best academy in the city. Someone here must be intelligent. I don't think so. I sense some evil energies coming from there. It's best not to get too close, Rimuru said, walking to the other side. After searching the academy for a while, he couldn't find the boy, so he had no choice but to go to the only place left to check. He decided to conceal his presence in case they saw him. Upon entering, he saw 3 brunettes, a redhead, a black-haired girl, an albino girl, and a blonde boy. Those 2 chestnut-haired ones have the presence of a dragon, but they don't resemble Voldora, Rimuru said, remembering his friend. The others are low-level demons, he added, basing his judgment on their power level. Lord Issei is the one who has the presence of a superior dragon. Are you sure, Raphael? He seems to be a very low-level demon. He doesn't even have magic, he said, observing his power level. I never fail at what I say, Mr. Rimuru. Hi, he said, observing what was happening from a corner of the room without anyone noticing. You damn useless wretch. I don't even know why I used my parts on you, said the retard identified as Rias. President, you can't lose your temper, said the black-haired girl identified as Akeno with a smile. It's no use, the albino woman said expressionlessly. The blonde man said nothing and just watched the situation in silence. All the chestnut trees mocked him. The FFT, did you hear that? Not even she knows why she wasted her money on you, the brunette said mockingly. Ahaha, how useless. The boy couldn't take it anymore and ran out of the room. Well, we have to leave here. There's nothing of interest to me and I can't lose that boy, Rimuru said seriously. Time skip. Rimuru was standing next to the boy since the boy couldn't see him either. Location. Park. Time. 4 p.m. Now that I think about it, how can I make him notice me? Or rather, what do I have to do with this guy? Rimuru said, thinking more about the situation. Sir, what if he uses Beelzebub on him? It might work, Raphael, but if it doesn't, he'll die, so it's all or nothing, Rimuru said in a serious tone. I don't understand. Why can't I stop being useless? Why do I keep suffering more and more? Issei said with tears in his eyes. How pathetic this boy is, Rimuru said, a bead of sweat forming on the back of his neck. Well, it's time. Let's end his suffering, he said, extending his hand to Issei's head. Beelzebub. Little by little a black cloud enveloped Issei and he continued to cry even more for dying in that way. Don't worry, kid. Your name will be the highest in all the heavens, Rimuru promised Issei, bringing a genuine smile to his face after so long. Time skip 1 minute. During all this time, Beelzebub was slowly absorbing Issei, although the latter didn't scream in pain or anything since he felt nothing. It was like being a cloud to him. Sir, the assimilation was a complete success. So I guess I'm not a ghost anymore, Rimuru said seriously. Sir, you're going to be surprised by what I'm about to tell you, but you look different now. Imagine slightly short hair. What? He said, touching his face. I'm a hot eye. Rimuru said proudly. Wait, if my face changed, does that mean I'm not a slime anymore? Sir, your body underwent 4 changes. They are not many, but they are important. First of all, its appearance. Segundo is now a human but can still transform into a slime. Third, he is a man in his entirety. 4 is alive. That means that, Rimuru said, pulling down his pants to see his partner. I'm a man again, he said with tears in his eyes. So as not to leave it on IHEX, poor thing XD. Apart from those 4 things, everything else remains the same. Well, we need to investigate this world, Rimuru said seriously. No need, I can give you Issei's memories if that's what you want. Okay, Rimuru confirmed, receiving all the memories at once, causing a huge headache which was instantly cured by his hyper-regeneration. This kid went through hell, Rimuru said, a little surprised, as he walked through the park where they were. Apparently, in this world there are many realms. Asgard, the realm of the Norse gods. Olympus, the realm of the Greek gods. Heaven. Hell. Gregory. And many other pantheons of gods. There are about 100 of them, each faction with a leader, he thought, surprised. Rimuru was so absorbed in his thoughts that he didn't notice a spear of light approaching his stomach and piercing it completely. Rimuru said, looking at the hole in his stomach, then looking up at the sky and seeing a girl with crow wings. Was that you? He said, regenerating. What? They said he was the weakest of the entire Gremory entourage, she thought, surprised. So what if that's true? She said arrogantly. Well, I'm afraid I'll have to kill you, he said seriously, launching himself at the girl with incredible speed, grabbing her by the head and slamming her to the ground. Okay, let's ask a few questions. Who sent you? It's too fast, I won't tell you, he said with an arrogant smile. I understand, he said, stepping on the fallen angel's arm, breaking it in the process and making her scream in pain. Let's change the question. Tell me, who are you? I didn't tell you, she said, before screaming even more in pain. Since you refuse to cooperate, the only option left is to eat you, Rimuru said calmly, using Beelzebub to absorb the fallen angel. Give me her memories, Raphael. Understood. So Rainer, sent by Kakabiel and 3 others. It's time to leave here, she said, taking out her wings, but these had changed. Now there were 25 fallen angel wings and this. Well, now she has the skills of a fallen angel, sir. Okay, let's go. Oh, of course, Issei. Raphael, is Issei alright? Yes sir, do you want me to leave your body so you can see it better? Yes, Raphael, please, I completely forgot that he was still inside me, but luckily he also acquired the powers I absorbed from them, right? Yes sir, he has the same powers, but evolved. By the way, Raphael, you told me he has a dragon, right? What kind of dragon is it? The dragon that Issei carries is called Zero, the dragon of final judgment, the destroyer of universes and dimensions, a dragon that can even defeat you and Veldanava together and defeat any other existence. It has the ability to absorb, create, destroy, and can even give powers to its carrier. Do you wish to copy the dragon? Well, it might be useful to have someone like you as a partner, Raphael, just like Zero. Initiating the copy of Zero. The Doomsday Dragon copy successful, Zero has been copied, skills acquired. Alright, now it's time for Issei to leave my body. Rimuru then released a different Issei, who had black and red hair. Raphael, what happened to his hair? Having absorbed Issei to take his form and give him his powers, he suggested a change, so now he has Issei's appearance, but can take other forms and return to his former appearance. I see, said Rimuru, looking at Issei, who was beginning to wake up, seeing Rimuru in front of him. Who are you? Issei asked with some seriousness. I am Rimuru Tempest, Demon Slime King from another world. It's a pleasure to meet you. Introducing himself respectfully to Issei. Demon King. From another world. It's almost impossible to process, but tell me, weren't you starting something? Well, what happened is that I gave you my powers as well as my memories, so now I have your memories and knowledge of this world, and let me tell you, you've suffered a lot, Issei, Rimuru said, making Issei turn away. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Don't worry, I already had the impression that you would say that about me. Well, besides, you possess a dragon, he said, and Issei was shocked. The reason you didn't show it is because you needed a powerful thought, but with me nothing is impossible, and I helped you awaken it. Its name is Zero, and I copied your dragon. I hope you don't mind. It's not a problem. I already had an idea that I possessed a dragon because I always dream of seeing a huge powerful dragon, but now that you have a copy of it, doesn't that make you stronger? Yes, but yours is unique because my abilities, when transferred to you, have evolved and changed a lot. Besides, you're just as strong as me. That makes us almost brothers since you have the same genes as me now, and that makes you my half-brother, Rimuru said, making Issei smile, but with tears in his eyes, because someone actually considered him his brother. Thank you, I hope we get along well, brother. Yeah, same here, Issei. By the way, you need to fix some things here. You should go home, I'll look for a place to live. I'll send you the address later. Rimuru said that and left at great speed, having acquired Rainer's power, since she now also had 26 very large and long black fallen angel wings. Her magic enhanced the wings. Now they are far superior to any other fallen angel that has ever existed. This world is going to be very interesting, so maybe it's not all bad, Rimuru said, seeing the bright side of things. At that moment, all of existence on Earth was going to witness the great power of Rimuru and Issei, although it is only the beginning of the journey and the adventures that are coming. Chapter 1. Issei was walking through the desolate streets of Kuoh. Now where will I go? I throw the question into the air. Sir, I recommend you go home to pack your things and conceal your presence. The factions cannot know your identity yet. Oh, that's a good idea, Seal, Issei flattered the god of knowledge. I suppose if I have brown hair and honey-colored eyes, I could pass for him, Issei said, touching his hair to make it brown. Now let's go to my house and see what happens. I'm going to tell Rimuru Issei now. Time skip. Issei stood in front of a gigantic mansion with many guards and cameras monitoring it. Issei could only be surprised. That brat had a mansion like that. Or rather, what the hell do his parents do for a living? He thought in surprise. Rimuru was surprised because their minds were connected and it made him curious. As they approached the entrance, there was no doubt that he was Issei, so they let him in immediately, although they treated him with a bit of disgust. As he moved a little further from the entrance, he could hear the guards talking badly about him, about how useless and worthless he was, but Issei just ignored them and continued walking normally to the entrance of the mansion, which they opened before he entered, surprising him. How many maids do they have? He says, looking at a line of many maids. Welcome home, young master, they all said in unison, though without exception, they all said it with a tone of disgust. Damn, everyone here hates him, he thought seriously. A maid quickly approached Issei. Issei-sama, your entire family is having dinner right now, the maid informed Issei. I understand, I'll go to my room, Issei said, walking towards the stairs. You can't, sir, the maid said, making Issei stop. I was strictly informed that you must join them tonight. Okay, he says calmly, starting to follow the maid. Something's wrong. According to Issei's memories, his family had never let him eat with them, he thought uncertainly. After walking for a while they arrived at the dining room, which was quite large for 6 people because there were 20 seats. Issei walked until he was at the other end of the room and sat down away from the others. "You finally arrived," said a burly man. This was Issei's father, Hyoudou. He was one of the strongest people in the underworld. It was said that his power rivaled that of a faction leader. "Yes," Issei said, analyzing everyone around him, his gaze fixed on a blonde woman. Hyoudou was Issei's stepmother, the cause of almost all his suffering, since he was the only son of Kuoh and his real mother. "Speak with more respect," Melissa tells Issei. "Or what?" Issei said, challenging his stepmother. As soon as he finished speaking, he felt the cold of a sword against his neck. "Who?" he said, turning to look at a blonde girl who looked a little older than him. "Show some respect," the girl said seriously. This was Alice Hyoudou, daughter of her stepmother and her father. She was chosen by the fragrant olive sword, which had only been seen thousands of years ago in the Holy War. She was the pride of the family, apart from the other two, the Alice from Sword Online. "Interesting sword," he says, grabbing it and removing it from his neck. "So why have I come here?" "Father, how can you allow such insolence from this useless person?" says a chestnut-haired man of the same age as Issei. This was Hyoudou, bearer of the Red Dragon Emperor. He was the second pride of the family after Alice. He was the same age as Issei. "My brother is right," the other brunette said, supporting him. Hyoudou, wielder of the diamond flower sword, was the third pride. Because this sword wasn't as powerful as Alice's, but it couldn't be taken lightly either, he was the youngest brother of them all. "Silence," Kuoh said in an intimidating tone. "Alice," he said, gesturing for Alice to stand beside him, leaving Issei alone. "Anyway, we need to talk about your non-existent talent," he said seriously. "So?" he says, playing with a fork that was on the table. "You're banished from the Hyoudou family. We can't afford to have a normal human with us. You'd be involved in an attack, an attempt to weaken us." It's because he couldn't finish the sentence because Issei interrupted him, throwing a fork that lodged centimeters from his head. "For my own good, okay?" he says, finishing the sentence. "Don't say it's for my own good if it isn't true. I know very well that you just don't want some useless person who will dishonor your family's name," he says, getting up from the dining room table. "I was planning to leave eventually, so I should say thank you," he says, walking towards the exit, raising his hand in a farewell gesture. Everyone in the room was surprised by his behavior, but there was one person who couldn't stand it and took it as an insult to her family. This was Alice, who lunged at Issei in an attempt to cut off his head. "Pathetic," he says, gripping the sword with 2 fingers and then kicking it, sending it flying into a wall and alarming the others, who then assumed fighting stances. "I have no intention of fighting any of you, so sit down," he says in a sepulchral voice, accompanied by the aura of the Demon King, completely terrifying everyone. "I have to go," he says, bowing and calmly walking down the mansion's hallways toward the exit. Time skip. Issei was walking through the streets of Kuoh. It was night and he liked that very much. "I think I'll take another form to be better," he said, taking the form of a very cute white-haired boy the same size as Rimuru. "This will suffice, Seal. May I summon my sacred gear?" "Yes sir, would you like me to help you with that?" "No, don't worry, I'll take care of it." Issei closed his eyes and in an instant, on his left arm was a black glove with a dark red gem that gave off an aura of death. "So this is the dark gear. It's impressive. Dark gear required. Hours of the dark gear. Dark shoot, infinite blaster, black cannons, divine speed, control of dark flames, manipulation of time and space, control of gravity and matter, sealing of souls and powers, freedom of the Zero Dragon, infinite power, black cut, among other acquired abilities found in the dark gear. Ability to take other forms such as swords, scythes, spears or bracelets. Zero, the Dragon of Doom, has awakened. Damn, is the barrier real? Issei created a barrier to prevent Zero's presence from being revealed. Zero, can you hear me? Wow, this is my second host, and the first one who is a being of great power with the ability to destroy many dimensions. Just like me, a terrifying voice spoke from the red gem. "It's a pleasure, partner, I am Zero, the dragon of final judgment and guardian of purgatory." "Nice to meet you, Zero. I'm Issei Tempest." "It's incredible that I'm your host," Issei said, amazed. First, he was a very powerful god, and now he's wielding a dragon of immense power. "Well, believe it, even I was surprised that my host is a god, and a powerful one at that, but you don't compare to me. If you give me your heart or any part of your body, you will be a complete dragon, and you will be more powerful than before," Zero said, making Issei think. "Let me think, holy, how many universes and dimensions did Zero destroy?" she asked her other companion. "Zero has destroyed around 100,000 universes and dimensions, acquiring more power than before. That is why he is the most powerful existence in all universes. His rival Bahamut was the one who sent him to this world, and Zero sealed himself in the dark gear." Okay, I understand about Zero, but who is Bahamut? Bahamut, the supreme evil dragon god, being second only to Zero, is his rival, and they are destined to fight, and currently Bahamut is also sealed in a sacred gear in this world. I understand, fine Zero, I accept your offer, I will give you my heart. What Zero said turned Issei's heart into that of a dragon, causing him to fall to the ground due to the immense power he now possessed, plus Zero's power. But this power, I'll be able to protect humans and other dimensions, Issei said, his eyes turning red and slitting. Well, it's time to go back to Rimuru. He must be waiting for me. He dispelled the barrier and produced 2 gigantic dragon wings, but with feathers. This was because he had absorbed Rimuru's powers, and they passed to Issei as well. Now he had angel wings mixed with dragon and slime wings. Wow, my wings are really big and cute, although it's silly of me to say that. Anyway, we have to go. Thus Issei flew away at great speed with his wings, heading to his new home, where he would now begin a new life and new adventures. The dark dragon god Slime and the dragon god from another world would be known in both worlds and in all dimensions. Chapter 2. After Issei left and adopted a new surname, Tempest, he went directly to his new home, far from the city, more than 900 meters away, where a large mansion of about 3 floors could be seen. Rimuru, I'm keeping an eye on the house, but just in case someone becomes our friend and wants to live here, Issei said, looking at the mansion from afar. He then decided to descend from the sky and touch the ground. Seal, is it possible to summon someone Rimuru devoured? Is it possible? Do you wish to summon them? Yes Seal, I will invite Shizu, the Orc Lord of Disaster, so that we are not alone. Also, I want you to summon Shizu's mother and her friend who died because of Ifrit. As I wished, sir, invoking beings. In front of Issei, magic circles appear, revealing a few beings. The Orc Lord Disaster, the Demon King, standing about 6 meters tall and somewhat terrifying, were it not for his immense power. It was even impossible for the beings of Issei's world to defeat him. Orc Lord Disaster form. The other was a girl with long black hair, grey eyes, and a scar over her left eye. She wore a white battle-like outfit with a strange symbol, as did the rest of her black clothing. This was Shizu, the master whom Rimuru devoured to take on this form and obtain Ifrit's power. The other was a beautiful woman of about 35 years old, almost like Shizu but different. She was Shizu's mother. The last one was a girl with hair of a rather unusual color, but she was cute and she was Shizu's friend who died from Ifrit's flames. Where are we? Shizu asked. It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm Issei, a demon king, dragon hybrid, and half-brother of Rimuru Tempest, Issei said, introducing himself to them. Are you Rimuru's brother? The Orc Lord asked. If I am his brother and you must be the Orc Lord Disaster, I saw in Rimuru's memories that you are a demon king, said the white-haired man, Issei, in amazement. Yes, it's obvious you're like him, but tell me, where are the others? The orc asked. They are in another world, safe with the true demon king. He is dealing with an enemy, but he will send someone to this world, Issei explained. And they are on Earth, the place where Shizu and her mother come from. They were both impressed and ran up the hill, seeing the city from afar, and that made them both very happy. Do you want to stay with us in our new home or do you want to go to the city? Issei asked. We will go with you, Issei-sama, said Shizu, and her mother bowed, as did the Orc Lord. Alright, but I'll give you other names if you're going to live with us now. Shizu and the orc agreed and knelt down. Fine, I'll call you Black the King Orc Demon Disaster. With that, the Orc Lord, now named Black, shone like Rimuru did in his world. And you, Shizu, I'll call you Shizuru the Black and White Swordswoman. Thus, Issei would now have 2 new friends and servants living by his side. Issei could see that Shizu was now immortal, and her combat power surpassed that of any knight or warrior with swords, and that included Norse, Olympian, Egyptian, and Hindu gods, as well as dragon kings and celestial dragons. Black surpassed any other being and god in strength and immediate regeneration. Incredible, they used up almost all my magic, Issei said. That's not true, sir. You're much stronger than before, as you're naming names. Seriously, and how strong am I? He asked. You have 20 times the amount of Magiculas, being the most powerful demon king, surpassing all dragon gods, and could draw 50% of Zero's power. I'm practically a being of great power, but can I create angels and other beings? Can I summon demons from Rimuru's world? The white-haired man asked. Yes sir, you have the ability to give life and destroy, as well as summon beings from other worlds to serve you. I see, well rest well, we'll talk tomorrow. Issei cut off communication with Seal and began walking towards his new home where Rimuru was waiting for him. When they arrived, they saw that the mansion was beautiful up close and the space was so large that they could build a city there. Being a large space, far from the city and isolated from the world because it was hidden by the large mountains that covered everything around it and the fog cove was almost impossible to reach. Issei knocked on the door 3 times and heard from inside, "I'll be there." A few seconds later the door opened revealing Rimuru. "Issei, you came back before." Pio froze when he saw the Orc Lord Desister behind Issei, giving Rimuru a creepy look that made him so scared he fell backwards to the ground, his soul leaving his mouth. "Were you surprised or scared?" Black asked. "I say both, Black, don't worry, it's something new for him, and I think I'll have to give Rimuru a lot of explanations." Yes. 5 minutes later Rimuru was sitting, and Issei told him that he can bring back to life beings that Rimuru has eaten, and he asked him about Rainer, but he told him that he sent her soul to Purgatory, a place that is worse than Tartarus, and that's all. Rimuru: "I honestly had no idea you could bring people back to life, especially those two," Rimuru said, pointing at Black, Shizuru, and her mother. "But what else can be done besides modifying the mansion so that Black can now enter and shrink thanks to my dragon and demon king powers?" said the white-haired man. "Yes, by the way, Issei, would you mind if I went to your academy?" Rimuru asked. "No worries, you can go, but be aware that many will mistake you for a girl because of your appearance, and it's best if you return to your other form, just with slightly shorter hair." "Do you wish to go to Shizuru Academy?" Issei asked. "Yes, I wish to go and see this world after so many years have passed," said the swordswoman. "Don't worry, I'll help you with that. I'll just transfer everything you need to know and learn to you." He touched Shizu's head, and she began to see everything about the subjects, information about technology, chemistry, among other things, as well as how to operate electrical devices like phones, tablets, and cars. "That's what you need to know. Another day, I plan to summon some demons to help us with the Kakabial problem. If it's true that there are only 3 fallen angels left and we eat them, we'll gain their powers and memories of what they've done. When you eat someone as a slime, you gain their powers and acquire theirs. For example, I now have 26 fallen angel wings, so I'm a god in this world. But you, Issei, since you possess a dragon of another level and power, it makes you a hybrid dragon demon god, and that makes you stronger than me. But if you want to be stronger than Onosvald Iagid, the true demon king, you'll have to surpass all the limits of your powers," Rimuru said. "If that's true, with these giant wings it proves I'm a dragon god, but even so, I still have to kill those fallen ones for hurting so many innocent people," Issei said, remembering and thinking about everything that so many people in Kuoh went through, all because of. "Yes, but it's all Rias Gremory's fault for believing she's capable of destroying them, but she doesn't want to kill them for the simple reason that it could start another holy war, and if that happened, we would wipe them all out with our infinite powers," said the blue-haired man. "It doesn't matter anymore, Rimuru. It's better to eat and go to sleep. Tomorrow I'll hypnotize the director so he thinks you're already enrolled and he'll fill out your paperwork, as well as Shizu's. Black and his mother will have to look after the mansion while we're not at home because, since in this world they keep everything related to the supernatural a secret and he being from another world they wouldn't understand much." "That's right, Black, can you stay here?" "Of course, Rimuru-sama and Issei-sama," Black said, bowing. "Don't be upset, after all, now with this power I possess I can create more like you." "Thank you, Issei-sama." "Leave the formalities aside, Black, just call him Issei or Ice," he said with a smile. "Okay, Issei," Black said respectfully. "Well, it's best to go to sleep. Tomorrow we're going to the academy, Shizu, you're going too," Rimuru said before Issei could finish, leaving him speechless. Yes, it's true. So everyone left to go to bed and sleep, but our protagonist Issei was awake on the rooftop looking at the stars. He saw in DKMJD's memories that he has the ability to destroy all the universes that exist, but he, being different from everyone else. Being a dragon of great apocalyptic power, he was stronger than Rimuru. He wanted to be stronger than him, he wanted to be stronger than everyone, and he wanted to defeat Onosvald Iagid to demonstrate his power and prove to his family that they were wrong to call him useless. Issei extended his hand to the sky, specifically to a star that shone very brightly, and closed his fist. The star was there, and when he removed it, the star was gone. Is this the great power of being a demon king and a dragon king? Yes sir, this is the power of Lord Rimuru, and now that you share the same memories, but you are stronger than him, you evolve at an accelerated rate, improving all your skills and powers. How many universes can I destroy now that I have this power? You can destroy 200,000 universes and dimensions. If you succeed, you will ascend to Supreme Demon King God if you so desire, but there are other ways to do it. For the moment I do not wish to be that, with my current power I can be capable of protecting many people, I will demonstrate my power and what I can do with my brother, together we will be the Supreme Demon King Gods that the universes have never been able to see and believe. Chapter 3. Issei was ready to go to the academy along with Rimuru and Shizu, since they would be attending it to live together and Shizu could also learn more about the human world. On the way, Issei explained to them that the place where they live is protected by a barrier that hides the place. What happens outside the barrier does not affect what happens inside. That is, he can create a city, but for example, if a person passes through where the city is and the barrier is there, nothing will happen. It is as if they were passing through it. Alright, let's go to the academy, although I do hope you get along well with the students, said the white-haired man. Issei had changed his hair to its true form, being the same as in the I'm only as a hero. His eyes turned blue. Rimuru took his previous form, but with a little less hair to look like a man. So the three of them headed towards the academy. Along the way, many men leered at Shizu with lust and perversion because she was so pretty and all that. When they arrived at the academy, the first thing Issei heard was, "He's the loser from Kuoh Academy," said one of the boys. "Those girls are in danger from that perverted beast," said one girl, exaggerating greatly. "I hope they don't live next to that stupid, disgusting pervert," the same girl said to her friends. "I wish he would die because that would be good for this world," the girl said, causing some hatred to begin growing in Issei because of his brothers, but if his cousin were there, she would never say those things to him because she loves him very much. Someday they will know the truth, and the moment will come when they will begin to regret what they have said, the chestnut-haired man thought to himself. So they went to the principal's office. Issei entered along with Rimuru and Shizu. The principal looked at Issei with disgust and disdain because many reports had been received about him and the school was on the verge of collapse because of him, but in reality it was his siblings' fault. "What do you wish, young Hyoudou?" the director said, somewhat calmly. "Don't call me by that last name, director," Issei said with hatred upon hearing that surname. "Isn't that the surname his family gave him?" the director asked doubtfully. "I'm disgusted and repulsed by having the blood of those damned old people. I took another surname, being Tempest. The reason I'm here is so that my brother and my friend can enroll in this academy, for the moment," Issei said, but the last thing on his mind was because he was thinking about leaving the academy to go to another one, now that he no longer lived with the Hyoudou. The director was shocked to hear how he spoke with hatred towards his own family. The former Issei, who used to be kind and caring, was now more determined and somewhat cold. "Alright, but have them take this exam," he said, handing 2 sheets of paper to Rimuru and Shizu, who completed the exam in 12 minutes. The principal was surprised by their intelligence. "Alright, they'll be in the same classroom as you. I just hope you don't do anything bad to them," the principal said. Issei and the two left, but Issei gave the principal a cold stare, who was terrified because he swore he saw his eyes turn red and slant like a reptile's. Issei started walking alongside the two until they reached the classroom where Rimuru and Shizu handed the papers to the teacher. "Alright, I'll let you know when they come in," the teacher told them. "Now, pay attention. 2 new students will be joining this group. Everyone hoped it would be a girl, the girls hoping it would be a cute boy. You can come in, as can you, young Issei," he said the last part with disgust. Issei entered, and Rimuru and Shizu followed. "I'm Rimuru Tempest, I'm 17 years old. I am Shizu Tempest, I am 16 years old, and I currently live with Issei and Rimuru." No one could believe that the worst in his class and the pervert according to everyone lived with the two of them. "Excuse me, why do you live with that loser and pervert?" a girl asked. "Because Issei gave me a home, I became his friend, and besides, he's Rimuru's brother and I'm his best friend, and maybe in the future I can be something else for him," Shizu said. "Could it be that he's threatening you to be with him?" another girl said. "I don't understand why they call him that. When they get to know him better, they'll realize there's another boy inside," Shizu said. "That's not true, that beast is the worst scum in this school," Murayama said. "You'd better shut up. If you mess with my brother, you mess with me. I may look like a pretty face, but I've left over 40 young people in the hospital who dared to insult my brother. You're losing someone, and now someone new is about to be born from him, and you'll regret it later. Don't blame Issei for what's coming in the future. When you find out the truth, it will be too late because he will never forgive you, and you will live with the pain and sadness," Rimuru said, trying to calm down. The Hyoudou brothers somehow felt their hearts hurt upon hearing how Issei had a brother who was better than them, who treated him well, and who also defended him. Classes began, but not before the teacher took attendance of the students until he reached Issei's name. "Issei Hyoudou," the teacher said. "Excuse me, professor, but my last name is now Tempest," Issei said, shocking everyone, especially the brothers. "Isn't his last name Hyoudou?" the teacher said. "No, they kicked me out of their house, and I'm grateful because I finally realized that they aren't and never were my parents, just a bunch of shitty old people. I wish I had been born into that disgusting family." He didn't finish speaking because someone got fed up with them talking badly about their family, and that someone was Alice and Hyoudou. "You damn bastard, how dare you say that about my parents?" Hyoudou said. "I'm just telling the truth, and if you want to hit me, let me tell you that I'm not responsible for what happens to you afterward," Issei warned. "Don't make me laugh, you stupid bastard," said Alice, who went to try to hit him, but Issei reacted quickly and kicked me in the stomach, which hurt Alice a lot. Ah, damn it. You'll pay for hurting Alice. Hyoudou quickly went to strike him, but Issei dodged his blow and delivered a powerful punch to his stomach, another to his chest, one to his nose, and a fourth to his back. With that, Issei broke 5 of his ribs. Blood began to pour from his mouth and nose, and he was in excruciating pain in his back. Ah. How's this? I became strong because you all underestimated me so much, and that was nothing because if I had really hit you, I would have killed you. And let me tell you this, he grabbed Hyoudou's wrist, you will suffer greatly. And tell your disgusting mistress that I am no longer her pawn because a fallen angel did her a favor and then I finished him off. If I could take him down, I can take you down. All of you will see your mistake and what I am capable of because of you. And enjoy this pain. Issei broke Hyoudou's wrist, who screamed so loudly that Issei then kicked him in the mouth, causing him to fall to the ground. Don't tell me it was my fault because they started it. I was only defending myself, so please continue with the lessons. The teacher began the class somewhat frightened by what Issei had done, but Rimuru and Shizu seemed to approve of what he did, since they were the ones who had caused him to suffer countless humiliations, beatings, and taunts. But now everything was different. Zero was very happy, but Goro's red dragon was terrified because now he understood why he felt the aura of someone who seemed very familiar. Zero had humiliated Drag and Albion years ago and treated them like mere children, and since then all dragons and supernatural beings had feared him. Besides everything else, his true form is colossal. His true form can reach a distance of 50,000 kilometers, making him the largest dragon, but he usually uses only a form of 300 meters or 100 meters, so that his great power remains unknown. Furthermore, if we compare him to Super Shenron, Shenron would end up humiliated by Zero, since Zero absorbs attacks and makes them part of himself, becoming 3 times stronger. Classes continued, and then Issei's 2 friends, Mitsuda and Motohama, appeared. Believe it or not, they weren't perverts. They talked about certain things, but they never did anything perverted. Hello Issei, they both said at the same time. Hey guys, what brings you here? The brunette asked. The thing is, we were shocked by how you hit your own brothers. They are not my brothers, but he is, I pointed to Rimuru. I want to introduce you to my brother, Rimuru Tempest. I introduced Rimuru, who was eating noodles with Shizu. And this is my best friend, Shizu Tempest. We named her that as a member of our family, I finished. It's a pleasure, I'm Mitsuda and this is Motohama. We're Issei's best friends. It's a pleasure to meet my friend's brother and his friend, said Mitsuda. It's a pleasure, Shizu said, smiling. But in the occult club, Rias was very annoyed but at the same time happy that the useless member of her clan was leaving because she said he would never be strong and was just a simple human. Haha, I can't wait to see your face when they discover that he is the most powerful being in all the universe dimensions and that he carries a being of immense power superior to him. I'm glad that useless person has finally left my clan. He was just a simple good-for-nothing idiot, Rias said happily, sitting down. He was just a pervert, said Kaneko. Yes, that's true, Fufufu, he's not strong, said Akeno, smiling with her eyes closed. The door opens, revealing Hyoudou and Alice injured. Rias and the others go to see what happened. What happened? Who did this to you? Rias asked seriously. It was that useless guy Ugh, he gave us a terrible beating, but this won't be the end of it. One day that useless guy will see what I'm capable of. I am the Sekiryuutei for a reason, Hyoudou said as Rias helped him sit down. But even better, that nun is coming today, so we can bring her into the clan to help us with our injuries and everything. Besides, we can get her out of her arranged engagement, Rias, Hyoudou said to his girlfriend. What do you mean, that useless guy? He doesn't have a sacred gear or magical power, he's just a regular human with nothing special, Rias said angrily. But if the nun arrives today, we should go to the church to get her, so we can have someone with better healing abilities. But what will we do with that useless guy? Alice asked. I'm going to finish him off when I see him for doing these things to my pawn and my knight, said Rias. But they didn't know that there was a small hour of water that was from Issei, so he could listen to what they had planned, and upon hearing the nun, he would go first and save her to prevent anything bad from happening to her, whether it was the fallen angels or the menstrual-haired Rias and her entourage. I'm not going to allow you to do that, Rias Gremory, Issei said seriously. Issei left, but Sona was in the student council with her entourage. She looked at Issei with a blush because she had been in love with him for a long time. When she entered the academy, she already thought he was just a human, but she still loved him. She didn't care what the elders or her family said. She loved him, and that was all. But the father of the Hyoudou brothers, Guru, had planned to betroth her to his son, Guru, because according to him, it was the best thing for both families, but in reality, he was doing it because Guru asked him to. Issei, Sona said with a sigh. Is Kaichu okay? Tsubaki asked. It's just that I'm a little pensive, wondering if I should bring Issei into our clan so I can confess my feelings for him, Sona said to her queen. I didn't know Sona-sama was in love with senpai, said the loli from the Raruko group. Well, even though he's human, it doesn't matter to me. Besides, I only love him. After all, he's no longer a demon. Maybe I'll have a chance to be by his side. If he ever demonstrates his great power, he can free me from the commitment my parents made, Sona said, her last words filled with sadness and anger. If it's true, Sona-sama's parents arranged her engagement to Guro, who is just a pervert who has been lying to everyone about senpai, but I know that senpai will one day prove his innocence. I hope so, Raruko. Issei-kun is very kind and caring, Momo said. That's true, Issei-chan is kind to others, but now that his brothers were insulting him and Rias-sama was mistreating him for not having a sacred gear, Rias said. Anyway, go to your classrooms. I'll call Issei later, Sona said to her students, who left to continue with their classes. Someday I'll tell you how I feel about you, Issei, I promise. Chapter 4. Issei was resting under a tree with Rimuru and Shizu. He ate his food, and being part slime, he barely needed to eat, but he still had to. Besides being able to devour anyone and obtain their powers and abilities, thus becoming stronger than before, he would only do so when it was a being he wanted and could. But his rest was interrupted by Kiba, Ria's knight, who didn't dare to help Issei. Issei, for his part, already knew about Kiba's past and all of Ria's pieces, but he didn't care. Besides, he would do something to damage their minds for causing him pain, both emotionally and mentally. Bachu is calling you, Issei, said the knight. Well, tell your mistress that I don't care if she requires my presence, I'm with my brother and my friend, so go away and don't bother me, Issei said seriously. Please also remember that you are Bachu's pawn, Kiba said. Issei, having no other option, had to go, but he would make a few things clear, besides the fact that he was no longer Ria's pawn and was now free, he had the pawn pieces to hand them over. Time skip. Issei was entering the occult research club with Rimuru and Shizu. Kiba knocked 3 times and her to come in. The 4 of them entered and saw Rias with her entourage and the Hyoudou brothers looking at Issei with a serious and cold expression. But he was unfazed by their presence. Their stares didn't bother him. Besides, it would be impossible for them to do anything to him since they were weak and without a healing signature, it was impossible. Ria's only solution was the nun Asia Argento from the Vatican, who had been expelled. Can you tell me why I'm here? I asked, bored. I called you because I want you to explain how you dared to hit my pieces. Rias asked. If I hit them it's because they started it, besides, for your information I'm not your pawn anymore. He throws her a bag which she opens, and inside were the pawn pieces he used in the. How were you able to get them out of your body? She asked, surprised. A friend helped me. Besides, you can tell your brother not to worry anymore, that this useless guy who could tarnish his family's name is gone. I hope you don't bother us, Gremory. I don't care if I have to fight you, Issei said. But Kaneko got so angry that she went to hit him. Just as she was about to strike him in the face, Issei was faster, and in one swift motion, their fists collided. Issei's punch was so powerful that it broke Kaneko's hand. But Issei didn't stop. He grabbed her foot and slammed her to the ground repeatedly. Akeno fired lightning bolts at him, but Issei used Kaneko as a shield and she took the brunt of the attack, injuring her even more. Issei threw Kaneko to the ground and punched her in the stomach, making her vomit blood. Then he delivered a powerful kick that sent her crashing into the wall, embedding her in it. Issei ran at great speed toward Akeno, but Kiba appeared and tried to cut him. Issei struck his Kiba's right arm caused him to drop a sword, which then plunged into Kiba's left leg. The sword shattered, leaving the metal embedded in the leg. Kiba then grabbed Kiba by the head and slammed it down with such force that the ground broke. Blood gushed from Kiba's nose and forehead, never stopping. Akeno was nervous, as she hadn't expected this to happen. The siblings tried to flee, but Issei unleashed his Demon King instincts, causing them to collapse under the immense power. Issei stood before Akeno, who, terrified, didn't know what to do. She touched Issei's chest and began to deliver a powerful electric shock, but it seemed to have no effect on him. He appeared to be resisting the force of the electrical discharge. Issei grabbed her wrist and broke it, throwing her to the ground. He began stomping on Akeno's sword, turning her around and striking her like never before. How does that feel, Akeno? How does it feel when that boy you used to make fun of punches you and then holds back? Akeno didn't respond or anything. Issei stopped and saw that Akeno seemed to be unconscious, then he saw Rias who fired her power of destruction at him, but when the smoke dissipated, he saw Issei still intact, but with some scratches and not very big wounds. Is that all? Issei asked, and once again he unleashed his Demon King instinct, but this time he used 0.2% of his power, causing Rias to fall to the ground and vomit a lot of blood from the enormous pressure. I hope it's clear that you won't bother me again, because you've seen what I'm capable of. Issei left, leaving Rias and the others injured. Later, she used Phoenix Tears to heal her pieces, but none of them understood how he had become so powerful, to the point of being able to do that. Rias swore that this would not go unpunished, but that she would find a way to kill him for such humiliation to her and her entourage. Issei, meanwhile, was already outside the club talking to Rimuru, but Shizu was the one who was happy with what she did, since she saw perversion in the two Hyoudou brothers when they saw her, and the others hated Issei, but he only had a kind heart when it came to them, and another thing. Classes ended and everyone left. Issei, for his part, was still walking through the streets of Kuoh when he went to an abandoned warehouse. He entered and closed the door. From the outside, everything seemed normal, but then lights came from inside, accompanied by heart-wrenching screams, like a woman's. The door opened as best it could, and a naked woman tried to get out, but something emerged from within and impaled her with 5 spikes or liquids the color of metal, dragging her back inside the warehouse until the screams stopped. Issei emerged, covered in blood. The demon woman was dead, her face contorted with horror, her body completely torn apart. Issei acquired her powers and abilities and avenged the people who died at her hands. He also extracted a small sample of the demon's blood to create a clone of her as a child, giving her some of his powers so she could become part dragon and part of his family. When Issei was far enough away, he fired a black and white beam into the sky, then brought his hand down forcefully, and the same beam struck him from the sky with twice the force. This causes a huge explosion. Issei turns around and flies at high speed back home. A few minutes later, Rias and the others arrive. Seeing the abandoned warehouse and the demon's remains, they suspect it was someone else who knew about the supernatural. Issei arrives home and, seeing how much bigger the place was than before, smiles. He can see wooden houses and other things, so he assumes it was Rimuru who wanted to create Tempest City for when his friends and citizens arrive. Issei entered the house and began cloning the demon, but it would take a long time, around 2.5 days to complete. She wasn't the only clone. There were more than one, about 21 clones of people, or rather, children. Issei was doing other things. In another part of the mansion, he saw around 28 containers that glowed gold and black, which was strange. Inside, he could see wings like those of angels, fallen angels, and dragons, so there were more than 28, perhaps 50 containers. Issei created things to keep his family safe from supernatural threats, even though they were no match for him. Even if he were the wielder of Bahamut, he needed to be stronger, so he created a room where time slowed down. Inside, a year was 10 minutes, so he entered, and 50 minutes passed. When he came out, he looked stronger. His aura was much more powerful than before. He managed to unlock other armors and evolve his powers. "Just wait, Asia, I won't let Rias make you her slave," Issei said, and behind him, a representation of Zero in his dragon form could be seen. The next day. Issei was on his way straight to school. Rimuru and Shizu said they couldn't go because they had things to do. Issei, on the other hand, stopped at the park and used his power to manipulate time, making what was 8:40 become 8:10, which would give him plenty of time to wait. Who would have imagined that my whole life would change in an unexpected turn? I ask. Well, it's something new for you, buddy, but it's better this way. You don't have to worry about that Gremory girl anymore. Now you have your new family. Well, I know that, Zero, but creating more NS is something new for me, and you say I can make thousands, isn't that true, just like demons and other creatures? Issei asked his sealed dragon. If you can create and destroy, you can also revive anyone and grant them immortality. Well, that could be useful for Gaia. Issei turns around and sees a small nun with blonde hair and emerald eyes fall to the ground. Why do I always fall? Buddy, you're in luck, she's the exiled nun from the church. Issei could now prevent Rias from recruiting Asia as her bishop, but in the world of Tensei Shitara Slime. Anos was already planning to send 5 or 10 people to the world where Rimuru was located. I won't be able to defeat him, that damn thing will only bring chaos to this world and the dimensions. I will have to send many very soon so that they can be saved and then send more. Anos feared this enemy because he was very different, he was more evil than any other evil being. This was the Lord of Chaos, the King of Chaos and Devastation, whose goal is to destroy all dimensions and multiverses that exist. Chapter 5. We see Issei helping little Asia Argento, the nun Rias wanted to recruit, to her feet. "Excuse me, I fell by accident," said the nun. "Don't worry, it's normal to fall. My name is Issei Tempest, it's a pleasure." "My name is Asia Argento, it's a pleasure to meet you, Issei," said Asia, smiling innocently. "Tell me, Asia, where were you headed?" asked Issei. "I was on my way to the church, but I got lost," said Asia. "I know that church. If you want, I can take you," said Issei, hoping she would agree so he could give her something to prevent any disaster from happening. "Yes, I could use someone to take me," said Asia. "Alright then, let's go." Issei led Asia to the church where they would talk about their lives. She had been exiled from the church simply for healing a demon, but he knew that no matter what happened, demons would be after her for possessing a valuable sacred gear like Twilight Healing. However, Issei had another goal. To give Asia a family, make her strong, and help her evolve her sacred gear. They arrived at the abandoned church where Issei sensed the energies of fallen angels and the presence of dozens of rogue exorcists. "Well, I have to go, Asia, but I'll leave you with this," he said, handing her a small blue device, almost like a button. "What's this?" Asia asked. "If you need help or if something bad happens, press this button and I'll come for you right away. Be very careful, Asia. Don't trust anyone, especially those who promised you something." Issei left, leaving Asia with a lot of doubt in her mind about whether what he had said was true. Those people had told her they would give her a home and a family, but she didn't know if it was real. Even so, she went into the church. Issei arrived at the academy and was seen by all the girls, who felt unsafe being near him. They kept their distance and made fun of him. But a certain boy tried to be clever by trying to stick a piece of paper that said like dirt on the wall. Issei grabbed him by the wrist and broke it. Before he could scream, Issei punched him in the neck, cutting off his air for a long time. The poor boy was choking, and now what Issei wanted for everyone to be afraid of him had become a reality. Everyone now began to fear him because of what he had done and what he might be capable of doing to anyone who dared to make fun of him. Classes started and everything was normal, or almost. Issei knew his brothers were now demons, so he didn't care. He was already a demon king, a hybrid of dragon and demon. This dragon Issei possessed was incredibly powerful. The dragon one of his brothers had was trembling with fear because if its wielder got too clever with a zero, it would eliminate Dryag forever. It wasn't considered the dragon of Judgment Day for nothing. At the end of classes, Issei started to leave, but he felt someone following him. He already knew who it was. Kaneko, the white-haired loli from Rias' turret. Rias herself had sent her to see what Issei was doing, to get information about where he was going, and even to prevent him from seeing the nun, since Kaneko had observed them in the park. That stupid Gremory girl won't leave me alone, so I'll have no choice but to do what she did to me, Issei thought to himself. Issei stops, and 10 bone tentacles with long, razor-sharp points sprout from his back. He moves the tentacles toward Kaneko, and she lunges to strike them. But when she does, the bone doesn't break. Instead, it hardens even more. Kaneko is struck hard by a tentacle, sending her flying into a tree. Issei activates a pocket dimension and begins to torture Kaneko as she had tortured him, believing him to be a pervert. "Look at you," he says. Kaneko turns around with difficulty. "You crawl like every demon I've killed. They fear me because of what I'm capable of when I only show them a small part of what I can truly do. And when that look of yours changes to desperation and terror, haha, it's spectacular for me." Issei raised his hand and lowered his tentacles with immense force, using the same power he had given Kaneko. The force created a crater, inside which Kaneko lay bleeding from her back from the powerful blow. Issei approached her and, with Seal's help, told her she was a Nekomata. He then absorbed almost all of her Nekomata energy, leaving her with only 40% of her power, so she would know what it felt like to be weak. "Now get out of here, but before you do, take this. Don't tell your stupid mistress that I was the one who attacked you, or I'll kill you. But just in case, I'll alter your memories." Using his power, he altered her memories to make her believe that a fallen angel had done all this to her, and he gave her a healing potion that healed some of her wounds, making her believe the angel wasn't so strong after all. Issei left after torturing one of the people who had been beating him mercilessly and without reason. He was somewhat happy now, but his goal was to save Asia, humiliate his pathetic brothers, and make it clear who ruled the entire city of Kuoh. "Seal, is it possible to summon demons from Rimuru's world?" "Is it possible, sir? Do you wish to summon demons to serve you?" "Yes, initiating demon summoning. Come here and carry out my orders, primordial demons." A huge black magic circle appears, from which emerge 12 demons of unimaginable power, so powerful that not even the Moser gods could defeat them. Their energies were so strong that anyone would fear facing them. Their leader was a young man with black hair tied in a ponytail, wearing black and red armor, with a demonic mark on his forehead. His eyes were empty, like the universe itself, but then redder eyes appeared. "Give us your orders, my lord. Slay all the rogue demons in the city and beyond. Leave none alive. You may devour their souls if you wish. When you complete this mission I have entrusted to you, I will see if you can be my servants for all eternity," Issei said to the demon who was stronger than the rest, despite appearing weak. The leader of these demons rose and extended 4 wings of dark matter, like those of a true demon, and flew away, followed by the rest who split into groups to kill all the rogue demons in the city. But the fallen demons were something else entirely for Issei. He had plans for something more with them. But Issei began to detect something not far from where he was. He sensed human presences that gradually diminished until they disappeared completely, so he decided to investigate. He unfurled his dragon wings, imbued with a bit of dark matter like the leader's, and flew off at full speed. A few minutes later, he arrived at his destination. An apartment that was locked and the lights were off. Issei opened the door but saw that the light inside was on, and as soon as his feet touched the floor, he felt a sense of death. He ventured deeper and deeper into the apartment until he reached the living room, where he saw no one, but he did see something on the floor. He bent down and touched the liquid blood from 3 bodies. A man, a woman, and a child of about 9 years old. They were all dead, with deep cuts and slashes across their throats. Issei was enraged and vowed to make whoever did this pay. The fisherman must die, Issei said, turning around to find someone sitting on the couch staring at the lit lamp. I'm quoting something from the Bible, something I really like. The man tilted his head back, and Issei saw nothing but madness in him because he stuck out his tongue, and his eyes were blood red. Ha ha ha, well, if it's a demon, this will be more fun. My name is Serekh, a priest who performs exorcisms on demons for humanity. So you had something to do with this, didn't you? Issei asked coldly. They were in contact with the demons, and I was just doing my job. I can't leave anyone alive, no matter who they are, the priest said. And that involves killing a child? Issei asked. Yes, that child had to die, and now you too will die at my hands, demon, he said, pulling out a pistol and a light sword. Issei didn't care because he had already stabbed his right hand into the palm of his left, and the priest was just laughing maniacally. But his laughter stopped when he saw Issei begin to pull something from his left hand, a light scythe. It was large and terrifying, with red gems like dragon eyes, and it was also very sharp. Impossible. How can a demon like you use the light of angels? This is because I ate a fallen angel and acquired their powers. Now I have those abilities and I'm on a higher level than you, which makes it very easy to kill you for murdering this family. Issei lunged at the priest, who barely recovered from the shock and began attacking. Issei launched a vertical slash, which Fried dodged, but the slash shattered the roof of the house and flew into the sky, witnessed by a certain Redeed who was heading that way. A beam of malevolent energy erupted from the house wall, nearly hitting Rias, who managed to dodge the attack and its fragments. Inside the house, Issei and Fried continued fighting. Fried fired 4 bullets, which struck Issei in the chest, and he just laughed maniacally, believing he had killed him. Ha 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 ha. You see, you're inferior to me. The madman said. You shouldn't underestimate your opponents, Fried. Fried was startled and watched as Issei stood up, the bullet holes regenerating instantly. What the hell are you? He asked, somewhat agitated. You said it yourself, a demon, but one who's on a level even higher than the Moes, or gods of this world. No way, no one is capable of being on a level higher than the gods. He said angrily. I'm not lying, I'm just telling the truth. You're even at a minuscule level. You just shoot wildly and don't concentrate on fighting. You just kill for fun. Issei was about to continue fighting, but… Aye. Issei turned around and saw that it was Asia who had her mouth covered upon seeing the dead family. Chapter 6 Part 1. The two looked at Asia, who was still in shock at seeing her family dead because of Fried. Ah, it's you, Asia. Did you put up the barrier to keep the demons away? The mad priest asked Asia. Yes, but what happened to them? She asked fearfully. What else, Asia? They had to die to pay for their sins of being allied with the demons. Besides, that boy is a demon, he said, making Asia look at Issei. Issei-san, is he a demon? She asked. Yes, Asia. I'm a demon, but a different kind of demon, Issei said, unfurling his demon wings, which were larger than those of the other demons in his world because they had skin and looked majestic. I'm also part dragon, but listen, don't trust him. He killed this whole family. You must escape, Asia, as fast as you can. Asia didn't know what to do, paralyzed by fear and panic at the sight of her dead family and the realization that the boy she'd grown fond of was a demon and a demon unlike any other. But she made a decision. Haha, no matter which path that nun takes, she'll die in the end like everyone else, she said. Just as she was about to stab Issei with her light sword, Asia stepped in front of him. I won't let her hurt Issei-san. Asia shouted. Asia. Issei couldn't believe Asia was defending him, even though he was a demon king, or rather, he was keeping her safe or something, so she wouldn't be frightened. It doesn't matter, you'll die too. Fried yelled, slapping Asia and throwing her against the wall. He tore her clothes and stabbed her in the sleeves with his light sword to prevent her escape. I wonder how it feels to take away the purity of a nun like you. Damn you. Issei grew even angrier, his scythe turning increasingly black and red, and his wings expanding with rage. Haha, die, you stupid demon. He roared, firing a barrage of bullets, but Issei absorbed them all effortlessly, regenerating instantly. Scales and bone spikes sprouted from his right arm, striking Fried in the face with them. Ah. You damned monster. No matter how strong you are, you will die, and besides, I didn't come alone. Issei sensed the energy of hundreds of fallen and priests rushing toward them, but he merely smiled. Sensing Rias and the others' energies, he became so enraged that he unleashed a lightning bolt, further slowing their advance and creating an anti-magic zone around them, preventing them from using their magic circles and allowing them to reach his position more quickly. Say goodbye to your friend Asia, Fried said, and a magic circle appeared beneath them, about to take them both away. I promise you, Asia, I'll come for you, I promise, Issei said. The magic circle took them both far away, leaving Issei furious with them for taking Asia. But now he could take his anger out on the fallen who were approaching. He left the area and began massacring all the fallen and priests, using his scythe of dark light to slice them in half, leaving a trail of blood. He didn't care how many times they begged for mercy. He killed them all until nothing remained. But he knew there were more of them. Using Beelzebub, he devoured all the fallen and priests to acquire their abilities and powers. Issei simply closed his eyes, feeling the power begin to flow within him. He created a spear of light, a terrifying and almost lifelike metal spear, and he felt it could obliterate an entire city, even 3 cities combined, with the powerful shockwave of the impact and the resulting explosion. Issei returned to the house and simply said, I'm sorry I couldn't save you. Please rest well. He used Beelzebub, and their souls were taken to a beautiful place, the paradise Issei had created for people like them. Outside, Rias and the others were about to arrive when they saw feathers from fallen angels and heard a noise coming from the house. They all got into fighting stances until they saw something shoot out from the roof and fly off toward the moonlight until it disappeared into the dark clouds. Issei, meanwhile, was flying using his dragon wings, which were larger than before and adorned with angel feathers. His tail and ears were also exposed. He surveyed the city from the air, observing the city lights ablaze, a beautiful sight. But he then headed home to plan his plan to save Asia from the fallen and the priests. Now that he had the primordial demons at his disposal, he could empower them by giving them names. Furthermore, he wouldn't lose so many Magiculas, and he could even create swords with his power. He went directly to his experimental site and set to work creating new beings that could aid him in future battles. Using his dragon power, he began crafting a new phase of armor. Now that he was a dragon god, he was truly powerful, and he also used his power to summon the hardest and most resistant metal from the farthest reaches of the universe. There were more than 30 large blocks of black metal, which he placed in a giant furnace. He used his power to summon the flames of purgatory, melting the metal until it became like lava. He then lowered the furnace into the molds. He had made more than 60 molds in total, including 10 large U-shaped ones. He ran out of metal, but multiplied them, creating more than 500 for future situations. Rimuru also mentioned that he had friends from his world, so he was thinking of them as well, creating armor, weapons, and other things that might be useful to them. The next day, Issei went to the academy, but he was more serious than usual. Rimuru and Shizu knew why he was like that and didn't blame him. They would have been like that themselves. But they let it go. During recess, some students tried to take advantage of Issei, but they ended up in the infirmary with serious injuries, all because of Issei, who held back too much. If he had gone too far, he would have killed them long ago. During recess, Issei knew that Rias was keeping a close eye on him after what had happened, but he still didn't want to be near her, not now that he was capable of so much with the power he possessed. He was capable of destroying the entire world, and not only that, but the universe, because of his enormous strength and power. Rimuru, on the other hand, was another matter entirely. She gave the copy of Zero a new name. The Syrian. Issei then gave Zero his own name, making him stronger than before, so he could give Issei more power whenever necessary. In his mind, Issei was modifying the armor he possessed, or rather, crafting. He wanted to make it from the same material he used to forge his swords and armor for others. It had parts for spikes or light swords. The metal would be made, in addition to dragon scales, those of Zero, which are much harder. The armor would have 2 hard layers that could withstand more than 30 solar explosions simultaneously in one place. Issei was invincible. He could travel to different dimensions whenever he wanted. Issei didn't know how many pairs of wings he had, having absorbed so many fallen angels, in addition to acquiring the power of light swords and becoming immune to them beyond what was expected, making his body harder than anticipated. But he wanted more power. No matter how many fallen angels he absorbed, he wanted more and more power to protect his entire universe from future threats. He also hadn't forgotten about fighting his eternal rival, who bore a resemblance to a certain silver-haired Lucifer, who remained hidden from him. Issei knew that on that very day they were going to extract the sacred gear from Asia to give it to someone better, and he would be promoted to a higher rank. That was the arrogance and lust for power of the fallen, but he would change everything. Whenever he wished, he could reveal himself to all that is supernatural and proclaim himself demon king or dragon god of darkness. But no, he wanted everything to happen in his own time. Besides, he wanted to humiliate his pathetic brothers for ruining his life since he was a child, and now that he had great power, he could do it whenever he wanted. But he had to train more. He wouldn't always depend on Zero. He would have to use his own power and immune strength. He didn't bleed or anything, but his slime DNA was, so to speak, blood. But if someone tried to extract his powers or take him to the bathroom, it would be useless, since his clone was another personality of himself and would have the same power level or slightly less than the original. No matter how hard they tried to destroy him, he was immortal and could live forever. Being immortal was something he almost liked, and another part of him wanted to share his immortality with his friends and family. He had his real mother, but something happened years ago, and they divorced. Because of this, he had a stepmother who hated him, and he hated her for all the way he was treated. So intense was his despair that Issei decided to go outside to clear his mind. He went outside with his eyes closed, but… Issei's scream echoed throughout the area. With a single punch, he unleashed a shockwave that destroyed an entire mountain, and not only that, but it traveled further and further until it reached space and obliterated 4 stars. This increased Issei's power. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. He screamed so loudly he could barely control himself. His eyes grew increasingly red, like blood, until he opened his mouth and unleashed a powerful blue flame with black lightning that destroyed the entire forest and beyond, burning not only trees, but also animals. Finally, Issei calmed down and extinguished the fire. Calm down, partner. I know you're angry. If you get angry again, you could destroy the whole world. Yes, sorry Zero. Hey, the armor, was it able to fuse with the one I created with that material? Issei asked. Yes, it was, partner. Furthermore, the dark gear has evolved into an even better one. Can you show it to me? The dark gear appeared on Issei's left arm, but much improved. Imagine that green is blood red. I feel that his power has improved more than estimated. With this I can save Asia. Just wait for me please Asia, I'm coming to save you. Beyond the universe and dimensions in the megaverse, a colossal planet the size of 8 planets like Jupiter or more could be seen. It appeared black, on it was a darkness, and beings could be seen flying with the use of wings and tails. So father found a new bearer and one worthy of his true power, said a female voice. Yes, what will we do sister? Asked a male voice. What else, Imperious, we must go to that universe and find Father's bearer. He is worthy of having all the power of the supreme evil Titan celestial dragon god. We must all leave tomorrow morning. Tell the world of Titan that we found a worthy bearer of Father. Teleport the entire planet. We will take the treasure of that dragon and his gem that contains all of Black's power. With it he would be able to fight that being who broke free from the seal a billion years ago or more. During that time, he absorbed more power. Prepare the dragons of the entire planet. It's time to pay a great visit to Father's wielder. Said the same female voice. As you say, sister, said another female voice. Don't worry, father, we'll go. We are, after all, the children of the Doomsday Dragon. He must be able to control all the power that dragon possessed. Otherwise, all the megaverses will meet a tragic end in that being. S clutches. Part 2. Issei was almost ready to go save Asia from the fallen angels, but he wanted to take someone with him to prevent anyone from escaping. He couldn't call his demons because they were on the mission he had asked them to do, and besides, he could feel their powers increasing with each passing moment. Who can I take as company? Issei wondered. Leave that to us, Issei-sama, said a female voice from behind Issei, and when he turned around he realized it was Shizu and Black who were wearing their armor for any battle that might take place. Are you sure you want to come with me? I asked. Hi, you brought us back from the dead and accepted us as your family. I would be happy to go with my lord anywhere, Issei-sama, said the orc lord. Alright, we'll go tonight. A magic circle appeared in the abandoned church, from which Issei, Shizu, and Black emerged, ready to face whatever dawned. Issei walked towards the door, Black went to survey the surroundings, and Shizu stayed with Issei in case he needed her help. Issei made a dramatic entrance with a kick, but because the door was so old, the kicks went flying and crashed into the benches that were there, and some structures were damaged for some reason. Bravo, bravo, you arrived just in time. This time I will defeat you, you damned little shit. All your sins will be paid for under my blade. He licked his pistol that he had in his hand like everything else. You're the worst. Have you been told that before? Issei asked mockingly. Ahahaha. Even though you're a demon, you have a good sense of humor. It's a shame I'll have to finish you off. Tell me, where is Asia? He asked coldly. Ah, that nun is right downstairs, but they won't be able to pass unless I stop them. Shizu, somewhat annoyed, began launching fire attacks, which Fried barely managed to dodge. Issei watched all this with boredom. Shizu was just playing with him. She was on another level that Fried could never reach because he was weak, very weak, and would never be at her level. Freed was just shooting everywhere because he could see Shizu's movements little by little. "Not bad, you look like a real swordswoman, but you're far from surpassing me," he said, drawing his pistol and firing at Shizu, but the bullet was destroyed on contact. "What? Are you very surprised? You shouldn't be surprised because I'm something worse than a simple demon." Shizu drew her other sword, which ignited with blue flames. 10 blue spheres appeared behind her and fired a powerful blue fireball, hitting Freed and causing him some burns and injuries. "You damned bitch." The exorcist shouted angrily. "He doesn't call my friend a bitch, you stupid miserable wretch." Issei gave him a simple punch that sent him crashing against the wall, causing him to bleed from his mouth from the blow that was not strong at all. "Remember this, you bastard, you won't always be able to protect anyone," Freed said, throwing a light bomb and disappearing, but Issei and Shizu didn't care. Laku was walking through the forest, looking around to see if there were any enemies, when suddenly a spear of light struck him in the back. But for him, it was nothing, just a simple tingling sensation. He turned around and saw that it was a man in an elegant suit and hat, accompanied by 2 other fallen angels. A young man with black hair and purple eyes, and a blonde-haired loli in a gothic outfit. But in her, one could see sadness and regret for what she was going to do or had done. "I see that these are the fallen ones whom my lord hates so much for killing innocent people," he said, turning around to look at his opponents. "Ahaha, a monstrous pig like you will die in just a few seconds. You are nothing but disgusting scum who will die in our power," said Dante. "Die? Me, at the hands of inferior beings like you? You are nothing compared to me and my lord, who is far stronger than you and all the beings in this world," Black said, his eyes turning red with anger at hearing them mock his lord. "Shut up, you damned monster. Now die." Black remained serious and only watched as they launched spears of light at him to try to finish him off, but the moment they hit him, they were destroyed. This greatly shocked the fallen, and even more so when they saw what happened next. Behind him, something like red and black energy emerged, which took the form of a snake that went towards the fallen, and Dante, like the other boy, was caught by the snakes and bitten, which caused them the worst pain of their lives. They saw parts of their skin burning. "This is my magic power, corruption. This prevents the opponent from using their power when they are damaged by the corruption." "Damn you." Dante tried to stand up, but he was pushed back to the ground because Black put his foot on top of him. "Do you think I'll let you escape like this, even after you mocked my lord? You're mistaken. I'm permitted to kill the fallen like you for the murders you've committed." Black pressed down on Dante's foot, causing his organs to spill from his mouth and his stomach to explode, resulting in a torrent of blood. But he didn't care. He took Dante's lifeless body and, without wasting a moment, devoured it, acquiring his abilities. He created an axe of light and, with a single slash, cut through the air, cleaving several trees. This display of power terrified the fallen. "This is interesting. I see that the fallen like you can create spears of light, but if I devour someone like you, I acquire their abilities and knowledge, just as I did with that fool who was useless as a warm-up." "Who the hell are you?" asked Azkin, the fallen angel who was next to Middled. "My name is Black, the King Orc Lord Demon, a servant of my master Issei Tempest, the great and powerful Demon King, and very soon he will ascend to Dragon Demon God." With that said, Azkin and Middled were afraid of what Issei could do in the future, but Dragon Demon God was something else entirely, it was something unimaginable. "You're lying. That human can't be a Demon King," Azkin shouted. "Don't believe me then, but your comrades, like all those exorcists, won't leave that place alive. Once you provoke a Demon King, you don't leave that place alive." But Issei. He and Shizu went down the stairs until they came face to face with 50 exorcists and a fallen angel who had Asia on a huge cross, bound with chains. "Asia?" Issei shouted. "Issei-san," Asia said weakly. "Ahahaha, are you impressed by this, you stupid bastard? This is my revenge for killing Rainer. So she's your friend, don't worry, you'll go with her just like everyone else." "Infinite Dark Nebula," Issei said, casting a spell that began to pull all the exorcists toward him with a powerful wind. They all tried to hold on to something, but it was useless. When some exorcists reached him, they were killed by an unknown attack that left cuts on their chests or deep wounds that ended their lives. When it was over, only 10 remained, and Issei simply began to walk. After that, he closed his left fist, and thin spikes of light shot out from the ground and pierced the bodies of the exorcists, killing them instantly. Kalwerner was afraid of Issei, but she would be even more afraid when she saw him disappear and reappear with Asia in his arms, and the cross was destroyed. "How the hell did you do that?" Kalwerner asked angrily. "My power is to travel through time, whether to the past or the future, and that gives me a great advantage. I can manipulate time and space, and you die in all of them, like right now." "Haha, you think I'm going to believe that? There's no such thing," Kalwerner said arrogantly. "Well, don't say I didn't warn you." From Issei's left arm, a terrifying sword emerged, radiating immense malevolent power. 10 tentacles of bone, metal, and terrifying spikes sprouted from his back. Calwarner lunged at Issei, but he had the upper hand. He was far faster, delivering countless cuts to Calwarner, who was frustrated because she should have Asia's sacred gear. However, she was being escorted by the leader of the demons Issei had summoned. He and the others had arrived. Issei, tired of feigning weakness, grew serious. His hair turned black, and with a single raised fist, Calwarner was swiftly torn to pieces. Her power was absorbed by Issei, who felt a sense of satisfaction at killing the fallen and avenging the deaths of hundreds of innocent people. He went upstairs and saw Asia sitting with the demons beside her. Issei simply smiled and she approached him. "Thank you, Issei-san, for coming," Asia said, crying happily. "Relax, I told you I wouldn't let you. I see they did an excellent job, just like you, Black," she said, looking at Black, who was at the door, but next to her was a fallen angel, Loli. "From what I see, you were forced to kill, so we will spare your life." "See, could I stay with you please?" Middle said, sounding scared and ashamed. "Of course you're now part of the city of Jura Tempest, well, if everyone else arrives someday," Issei said, smiling, which caused Middle to cry tears of joy. "Well Asia, it's time to give you your name again, you will be Asia Argento Tempest." Upon saying that, Asia began to glow intensely, and her sacred gear soon transformed into 2 bracelets adorned with green gems. She also sprouted 4 wings, 2 angel and 2 demon, a transformation that thrilled Asia, but drew the attention of those approaching the church. Next, it was Middle's turn. She received the surname Tempest and also evolved, now possessing 12 fallen angel wings with demonic touches. Furthermore, her power was different, belonging to a superior spirit, making her truly powerful. "Well, now we'll summon another demon who can be of use to us, but first I'll give you names," he said, looking at the kneeling demons. "You will be called Zeldris. You will be called Esterasa. Draco. Thaddeus. Darkseid. Pridus. Lucifer. Axon. Dune. Asta. Shadow. Curious." The first one, Zeldris, the black-haired one with that strange mark, was illuminated by a glow, as were all the others, who increased their powers to levels never seen before. Zeldris produced 4 pairs of wings made of dark matter, making them enormous. The others had 2 wings, but Zeldris, being the strongest, increased his power and for that reason now had 2 pairs of wings. Issei began the demon summoning, and when he did, purple rays emerged from the summoning circle. From there, 6 wings of dark matter emerged, joining together to form a single wing which plunged into the ground as if something were about to emerge. And indeed, from the circle emerged a boy of somewhat short stature, with empty eyes, golden hair, a white suit with black parts, 2 gloves, 2 boots, and finally, a large sword. This demon exuded a much greater power that made the other demons fear him. In addition, they saw a rat-like mark on his forehead, and the mark reached the area of his eyes, where the tip emerged like tears. The demon kneels in front of Issei. "It's a pleasure, master," said the demon respectfully. "It's been a while, brother," Zeldris said as the demon slowly approached him until he was standing in front of him. Everyone could see that the other demon was somewhat larger than him. "It's a pleasure to see you again, Meliodas the Destroyer." Somewhere in space. You could see 12 or 15 shapes moving through empty space. "Do you think the carrier of our father is really strong?" a male voice asked. "Of course, we feel our father's power in someone else's body for a reason, with amazing power," said a female voice. "That doesn't matter for now, we must arrive on time. He must be the chosen one, and for that reason we brought the black box with us and our people," said a female voice. And behind them came billions of beings that looked like dragons, and they all followed the 15 unknown people, and not only were there thousands, but there were more than 900 trillion beings that came behind them all. The great adventure awaits Issei, and he is about to become a true demon king. Final part. All was silent in the church. Zeldris saw his brother, whose name was Meliodas, but he didn't possess any magic, as only the summoner bestowed names and power. "Yes, it's been a while," Zeldris the sinister demon, Meliodas said with a smile and empty eyes. "So you're Zeldris's brother? What a coincidence that the brothers are reunited," Issei said. "A pleasure, Issei-sama," Meliodas said, kneeling before Issei and thrusting a large sword into the ground. "I will offer you my complete loyalty, my one and only true demon king. Stand up. You shouldn't kneel before me. From now on, you will be called Meliodas the demon of the apocalypse." Meliodas was surrounded by a malevolent aura that turned red and purple and entered his body. A strange mark appeared on his forehead, signifying that he had evolved to another level and was now the most powerful of all. "You will live for me, you will fight for me, and now you will live by my side as my faithful servant and warrior," said Issei with a small smile. When it was all over, they left the place, and then Rias and the others arrived at the church. But seeing no one, not even Asia, she became furious, since she could have served her in her retinue as her evil, but now her plans were ruined by the one who had ruined everything. Moreover, Alice hadn't recovered from the blow Issei had given her, although in a way she regretted it and felt that she was losing her brother little by little, because, even though she mistreated him like trash, he always protected and defended her from the children who mocked her for not having large magical reserves when they were little. Issei was separated from his mother at age 6 because his father divorced her and married his former stepmother, and the truth was, he didn't care if his mother already had a partner. He just wanted to see her again like his sisters because he had 2 more. But anyway, they went with their mother because of the divorce, and she left the country to go to Tokyo. Airport Kuoh. A rather large family was seen. A man around 49 years old with black hair and blue eyes. A 40-year-old woman with brown hair and a body developed like Lucifer's maid, holding a baby about 2 years old with black hair and hazel eyes. Next to her, a girl about 8 years old with brown hair and purple eyes. 2 girls about 17 years old with brown hair and hazel eyes, somewhat developed but still pretty, with bodies like Murayama and Cadis's. A 12-year-old boy with black hair and green eyes. And finally, another 14-year-old girl with brown and black hair and different colored eyes, one blue and the other hazel. We've finally arrived. I just hope Issei is alright, said the older woman with a baby in her arms. I can't wait to meet Oni-chan, said the 8-year-old girl happily. Yes, I can't wait to meet my older brother and play with him, said the 12-year-old boy. Haha, relax, kids. Your brother is surely fine, I hope, but he'll definitely be thrilled to see his mother again, said the man, hugging the woman. I really want to hug Oni-chan after all these years. I just hope those bastards didn't do anything bad to him or they'll feel the wrath of the Dragon Queen of Karma, said a girl. Relax, sister. He won't recognize us instantly, but he'll remember some of us, said the other girl. Well, grab your suitcases. It's time to go to the city. Luckily, our driver came with us, just like we did, to show us around town, said the man, looking at a limousine ahead. They were millionaires and had brought all their money with them because they would now be living in Kuoh. Back with Issei. He was at his mansion with the others when Rimuru, upon hearing that Issei had his own demons, asked him. Can you give me one? Rimuru asked innocently in his former form. No, you get your own. Aren't you a demon king who can summon his own? Issei said mockingly. Fine, Rimuru replied, summoning his own demons. There were only 3 of them, but although they were strong, they would be no match for Zeldris and Meliodas, who were on a completely different level. Well, now that Asia is with us and part of our family, Rias and her entourage will surely be pressuring her to join their ranks. Since she possesses a sacred gear that heals any wound, she's incredibly valuable. Besides, when I restored her name, I saw in her memory that she healed a high-class demon named Astaroth, who, according to Seal, is a demon who has been preying on nuns and maidens from prestigious churches. It's his fetish, and upon meeting Asia, he wants her solely for his own pleasure. He takes them to the underworld and grapes them until their minds break and they pledge their eternal loyalty to him, Issei said. Well, I support you on that. And what would you do with him? What else? I'm going to kill him and save all those maidens. I'll protect them here. I won't allow them to suffer anything worse than what that wretch did to them, Issei said angrily, releasing a small amount of his power. But Issei-san, are you sure? Asia asked. Yes, Asia, don't worry. We'll protect you no matter what happens, because those demons are nothing compared to the demon kings and their primordial demons on our side, Issei said, making her feel safe. Issei knew a lot about the supernatural world and intended to go somewhere to find familiars who could be useful to him in the future. He went straight to the forest of familiars to gather the strongest ones and be ready to face any enemy. When he arrived, he entered and the master was surprised because it was supposed to be a 1-month limit, but now he could go without any problem. Issei walked and walked for minutes until he came across 2 creatures that caught his attention. One was strangely shaped and colossal, about 140 meters tall, and the other was 150 meters tall. Both seemed identical in their features. Issei raised a small amount of his power, which caught the attention of these 2 giants. Issei named them Mitsilla and Gajamudo. He shrunk them down, and they went to the mansion where the demons were waiting to feed them. Then he walked on and encountered 7 more. A few were wolf-like creatures, 9 meters tall and incredibly powerful, while the other 2 were giant 9-tailed foxes, the largest of which was 11 meters tall and had red markings. Issei named them, and they evolved to be capable of killing supreme gods and dragon gods with their powerful bites. Just as Issei was about to leave, everything began to shake. The familiars fled, and Issei stumbled upon something incredible. It was like a dragon, but much larger, measuring 170 meters, making it bigger than Mitsilla and Gajamudo. The master told him it was the primordial dragon, a dragon born in space that fell into a forest and had killed everyone in its path, earning the fear of the familiars. The dragon had humiliated the dragon gods and was known as the Dragon of Devastation. Issei placed the seal on it, signifying that it was now a part of him, since he knew it would be no match for Issei. At first glance, he saw the silhouette of a colossal dragon, larger than the one behind him, not to mention its demon king power. Issei left the forest of familiars and asked the master not to tell anyone its name, but if he could speak about the type of familiars he had acquired. When Issei left, he felt an enormous power surge within him, because he had grown stronger by taming the familiars that had come to him and possessing their powers. Issei was walking calmly through the streets when he saw a black limousine pass by. A few meters ahead, it stopped, the door opened, and a woman stepped out. "Issei?" The woman said in a trembling voice that made Issei stop dead in his tracks, because he knew that way of speaking perfectly. "Ani-chan, is that you?" a girl said. Issei felt his heart pounding, and tears welled up in his eyes. "Ani-chan." Another girl called out, running towards him. "I am so glad to see you all and have you here again, Oka-san." Chapter 7. Issei stood face to face with his real family, his mother and sisters, but those still in the car watched the scene with a mixture of happiness and sadness. Happiness because they were reunited, sadness because it was a scene that brought tears to the children's eyes. Issei slowly approached his mother. "Is it really you, Oka-san?" he asked, thinking it was just a bad dream. "No, my little one, it's me, your mom," Mickey said, taking his hands. Issei couldn't bear it any longer and hugged his mother tightly, crying like a child who had lost his parents. "Why, you don't know how much I missed you, Oka-san," Issei said. "It's alright, my child. Now we'll all be together forever," his mother said, hugging Issei again. "I'll take you all home with the others," Issei said. So they went to Issei's mansion, and he already knew his mother was aware of the supernatural. When she learned what her ex-husband and stepmother had done to Issei, she wanted to go and destroy them because she possessed a dangerous sacred gear. This gear granted the power to divide, destroy, manipulate, and create anything. It was called Infinity Destruction. Issei's sisters also had sacred gears, and his new father possessed the axe of the god Ares, which had been lost, but now he had it. It had reached an astonishing stage, as the axe granted him armor. His father's name was Jack, now Hyoudou. His children were Lon Hyoudou, 12. Asami Hyoudou, 14. Zach Hyoudou, a baby. Frida Hyoudou. And his sisters, Izumi and Asara Hyoudou. Jack turned out to be a better father than Guru. He didn't care about his family's pride. All he cared about was his children and wife. When he and Mickey heard that Issei was now a demon king and a dragon one at that, they were shocked. But when Rimuru told them that there was another demon king named Onosbald Igat in their world, taking his place to hold off an unknown enemy, it gave them a bad feeling. But now they were happy to know that their son was doing everything he could to protect his family. He was strong and even surpassed Onos without using his balance breaker, relying solely on magic and strength. Well, what happened next was the matter of the church's envoys regarding Gabriel. I'm going to skip ahead with the battle because I almost don't like narrating everything. Gabriel was about to kill Rias and her entourage when a black sphere crashed into Gabriel, and when the smoke dissipated, Gabriel could be seen badly injured with blood gushing from his chest, but he received a blow from someone who moved at a great speed that no one could. He had a mask that covered his face, long hair like a girl in black and red, crimson eyes, and was the size of Takeda or well a little short. Gabriel. Who the hell are you? Issei. I am Imperious Tempest, the demon king of the evil dragon, and I am your executioner. With a swift movement, he pierced Gabriel's heart with his hand and ripped it out, still holding his heart in his hand. He then transformed into a slime and devoured Gabriel, gaining more power to become stronger and protect everyone from the approaching enemy. Rias. Who are you? Issei. For now, I can't say anything, Rias Gremory, but what I can say is that from now on, everything will change. Issei disappeared from everyone's sight, but in the sky was a white armor with blue gems. Armor. Demon king of the evil dragon. What do you think, Albion? Albion? I don't know, but be careful. I sense he didn't use his full power. He was just holding back. He used his physical strength, but not magic. I'll just tell you. Don't confront him if you want to live. Sorry for changing the writing style, it's just better this way. So, the day passed with our protagonist at home with his family and friends. Issei knew that sooner or later he would have to reveal himself to the supernatural world because of his great power as a demon king and dragon god. At the academy, the students were working on a project where parents had to come and see what kind of figures their children made with a mold. Issei saw his mother, who was now also his father, but he also saw Guru and his wife Melissa. They both saw Mickey, and Guru wanted to go talk to her, but he saw that she now had children, something that impressed him. He also saw how her husband hugged her and kissed her lovingly, something he hadn't done when Mickey was with him. Mickey. You can do this, son, do something. Jack. It doesn't matter what it is, we still love you. Issei smiled, so he closed his eyes, and when he opened them, he saw that almost all his classmates were looking at his sculpture. It was him, but with armor like the Sekiryuutei's, but black with red gems. This armor was a bit small, about his size, and thin, with 4 large wings. Around him were hundreds of millions of universes, as if they were rolling around him. Professor. That's a great sculpture, young Hyoudou. Your parents must be very proud. Issei. Yes, my parents are always proud of me. My mother, Mickey, and my father, Jack, are the ones who are very proud of their son. Guru and Melissa felt a pang in their hearts upon hearing that, but they also saw Mickey go and hug him. Jack joined the hug as well. When it was all over, they were about to leave, but… Guru? Issei. Issei stopped and looked at Guru. Issei. What do you want, Mr. Guru? Guru felt his heart ache, very much so. Guru. Come on, I'm your father. Don't you think you should call me dad? Issei. Excuse me, but who was it that planned to take me out of your house to keep me safe from the supernatural? They wouldn't leave me alone. You and your family never loved me. To you, I was a burden and a nuisance. You don't think I didn't know you also intended to go to the ministry to take away my family name, a name you don't deserve after what you've done to me. Melissa. I know we did wrong, but please come home. Mickey. My son isn't going anywhere with you. Melissa. He's not your son, he's mine. Mickey. And what did you do when he was being mocked and insulted by everyone? Melissa fell silent. Mickey. You did nothing. You just turned your back on him. I'll just say this. Don't go near my son or my daughters, or you'll regret it for the rest of your lives. And I wish I had never met you, Guru. So they left and Guru was devastated because of it, because of his pride, and because he had a strong offspring he lost his son, the only one who loved him, and Ahifa no longer wanted to see him ever again. Chapter 8. After that, Issei and his family were preparing to leave, but they were stopped by a crow that Issei knew perfectly well, since he had been observing it for some time, ever since Rimuru chose him as Demon King. Now, Issei was already at a level superior to Rimuru and even surpassed Ono's, but he wanted to be stronger because he possessed knowledge of the multiverse and the ultraverse. He knew the powers that existed, the unknown worlds, and the deities that might exist. Many deities that Issei wanted to fight against, all of them, and take his place as the Demon King, Dragon God, and a very powerful one, so he could create a megaverse where there was no evil. But he still had a long way to go, and he was also worried about the enemy attacking Rimuru's world. He believed they were doing it for a reason, and it wasn't anything good. Issei. What can I do for you, leader of my fallen angels? Azazel. Nothing important, I just came to tell you that there will be a faction meeting at the academy tomorrow, and since you defeated Gabriel, you must be there. Issei. I understand, I will, but now go. I have to be with my family and prepare for tomorrow. Or do you want to end up like Gabriel, or worse? Azazel trembled with fear, since he had no chance against Issei, and no other supernatural being in the DXD world could stand up to him. But Azazel could, or well, a little, because Issei, having 0, was superior to him using his demon power. But using both powers, he was an invincible being, but he wanted to surpass his limits, and just in case something happened at the meeting, he had everything ready. Issei left with his family using Issei's teleportation, which was much faster than a magic circle. Issei and his family arrived in the city, and Issei got to work bringing all kinds of metal to his world to create the ultimate weapon. As he was also Rimuru's successor, he didn't know that he carried with him a large drop of Ono's blood. When Ono stood before Rimuru, he had a wound on his hand, and that's how the blood fell onto Rimuru's clothes and stayed there. But when he absorbed Issei to give him his power, the blood mixed with Issei's, turning him into a pure demon. Issei had a large amount of blood from Ono's, almost a liter, and he could also draw upon the power of the gods and beings Ono's had killed throughout the years. He was even able to create a copy of the sword Demila Principios, I don't quite remember its name, and from there he obtained the power of the gods themselves, fusing some of their powers, but even though it was small, those powers increased. Issei then placed that power into some gems and put them into an armor different from the Sekiryuutei's. This one was black with a kind of halo behind it, but malevolent. The gems glowed from yellow to red, and from there the armor underwent changes, and its metal was much more resistant than before. Furthermore, when he put it on, he could move with speed. He also possessed other things. The powers and various gems from both worlds. He mixed them to coat his sword and other weapons, as well as himself, making him stronger. But it wasn't enough. Perhaps for now, he was superior to Ono's, Rimuru, and Wang Ling, but there was still a long way to go. Rimuru wasn't as strong as him. He could barely draw 100% of his base power as a demon king, even using the 0 copy. Issei. We certainly have a lot to do. The next day, a barrier was erected around the entire academy in case anything happened. The leaders were present in a room where the brothers, the Hyoudou family, demons, angels, and fallen angels were gathered. Sirzechs. Azazel, what time is your guest arriving? Azazel. Don't worry, he's. Issei. I'm here. Everyone turned and saw that the door was open and Issei came out, but he was different. Behind him came Dark Meliodas and Dark Zeldris, along with Shizuru and Rimuru, all in their black battle armor, emanating a sliver of their power. Even though he was already very powerful, Issei didn't exude any power, yet they still felt fear at the sight of him, his fiery eyes terrifying. Sirzechs. I didn't sense his presence. He hides it perfectly. It seems we won't stand a chance against him. Issei simply looked at the empty space and raised his hand slightly. A terrifying throne appeared, covered in spikes and bearing dragon eyes with slit pupils. These eyes were gems, which frightened him. Behind it stood his two best demons and his future partner. Rimuru did the same. Azazel. Well, it would be best to begin the meeting. Thus began the meeting about how the others faced Gabriel, and then when Issei arrived and killed him very easily without any effort, something frightening was that he didn't use any power, only physical strength. He also revealed his name. Imperious Tempest. Sirzechs. Well, Azazel, tell me. Azazel. I'll just say that he acted on his own. I knew nothing of his plan. Furthermore, I detected that 400 of my men are scattered throughout Kuoh and still intend to start a new holy war by assassinating the two heirs. Michael. But that doesn't excuse you from paying attention to your subordinates, because if it weren't for Imperius, everything would have been different. Issei saw that behind Azazel was a girl with white hair and beside him was a young man with silver hair, blue eyes, and strange clothes, like any rebel. But he felt the power of a dragon within him, a very weak one. Sirzechs. Well, what do you decide, wielders of the celestial dragons? Oro. I choose peace so I can be with my family. Ali. Peace as long as I can fight against strong opponents. Azazel. Even in these times, there will be more strong opponents like Imperius, who quickly defeated Gabriel. Ali remembered that, and it gave me a chill, because when he saw that Issei Imperius had his heart, he crushed it with his hand. Everything was going well when suddenly everything turned purple, causing time to stop. But Issei can also control time, just like Rimuru. Hello, fake mass. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.